friends, it's Elle. I thought I'd take some time to lead a little bit of yoga here on our Facebook page. So I'm just here for you. I know we're all a little bit stressed, I think is probably a safe assessment about what's going on in the world, and so some yoga for you. A variety of ways that you can help support Yoga Buzz in this next month or so, or couple weeks, as we have to cancel some of our events, is you can click on donate on our Facebook page or go over to yogabuzz.org to make donations there. We're going to keep creating some online content for you free of charge and encourage donations in the meantime. So you can also go onto our website and buy some of our super rad Yoga Buzz shirts, like what I'm wearing right here. And yeah, so let's do a little bit of yoga. Main thing here is get yourself some space. You need more than really what your yoga mat is, right? Or even just a towel. I've got a couple blocks that I'm going to use, but if you don't have blocks, you can use really anything that gives you a little extra height. You can use books. I'm like looking around, what else could you use? You could use just anything that makes the ground a little closer to you. We'll do a little bit of a guided meditation as well, and so whatever you need to sit on to feel comfortable, whether that's a blanket or a cushion, or you can sit in your favorite chair or on the couch or lay down in bed and listen to it there as well. So, all right, let's do some of this yoga thing. Maybe I'll find myself a little something to sit on, huh? Okay, so take a comfortable seat wherever you've got a spot to take a comfortable seat. Rest your hands on your lap and get yourself comfortable. I am currently in the same pair of pajamas pajama pants at least, that I've been in since, I'm gonna say at least Wednesday. Yeah, so, whatever you need to wear to be comfortable right now. So rest your hands on your lap, sit tall through your spine, give yourself a couple shoulder shrugs here. Whatever you need to do to sort of land into your space. And then bring your gaze forward and down towards the ground, or close your eyes. And take a few rounds of breath here. Just notice what's present for you. I definitely can feel that my jaw has been clenched a lot lately. I've been feeling kind of tight across my shoulders. So just take in whatever you notice without judgment and see if you can breathe a little bit more deeply. There's a lot of talk right now about the need for social distancing, and I saw something earlier today shared somewhere about what if we change that to social spaciousness? Because rather than distancing ourselves from one another, which we need to do physically at this point, but emotionally, how can we still stay checked in with one another? How can we still stay present with one another's needs? How can we stay present to remember that we're all processing what's going on in the world very differently right now? So knowing that while you might be sitting by yourself at home right now, you're not alone in that. I'm certainly here with you. And I know you're here with me too. Bring your hands to heart center. You can bring palms to press, or you can stack your hands over the front of your heart. Set an intention for your practice this evening, or whenever you're practicing right now. Whether it's, you either have an intention or you don't, and either is perfect. Let's take 3 full deep breaths here. Release your hands, blink open your eyes if they're closed. And let's bring in a little bit of movement, shall we? Take your hands to the top of your thighs, draw them down towards your knees, round through your spine. And lift your chest, slide your hands up towards your hips, tilt your gaze high. A few more times like that, you can add the breath. Exhale, round in. Inhale, lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. A few more times. And come to a neutral spine. Lift your arms up overhead, stretch up through your fingertips, take an inhale. And exhale, turn to your left. So I'm going to mirror you, hopefully. I think I'm mirroring you. You'll turn to your left. And you can look straight out from the center of your chest, or you can turn your chin over to the left, but keep your ears in line with your shoulders. Sit up tall through your spine. And keep your right hand where it is. Sweep your left arm across. Draw your chin to your chest, cross at the elbows. Draw your chin into your chest. And then inhale, take your arms up overhead, uncross the arms. Exhale, turn to the other side. Again, sit up tall through the spine. Keep breathing. That's ultimately what is going to support you in feeling better after this practice, or at least during the practice. Just taking deep breaths. Keep your left hand where it is. Take your right hand across. Draw your chin to your chest, round through your spine. And on an inhale, take your arms up overhead and cross them at the wrists. And exhale, the arms down by your sides. If you're sitting with your legs crossed, switch the cross of your legs. If you're not sitting with your legs crossed, then keep them like that. Inhale, take the arms overhead. Exhale, left hand down by your side. Stretch through the right fingertips. You can keep your gaze forward, or you can look up towards the sky, or you can look down towards the ground. And come up through the center, take your right hand to the ground, left arm up overhead, and breathe. And come up through the center, inhale, both arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time, inhale, arms high. Exhale, left hand to the ground, and then you can stay here or walk your fingertips a little further away from the side. Again, you can look down, forward, or up. Then walk your hand back in, lift both arms overhead, take your right hand down, reach over. And from here again, you can walk your fingertips out a little further if you'd like. One more breath here. Come up through the center, take both arms up overhead. Inhale, exhale, hands to the heart. All right, so then from here, let's come on to hands and knees. So if you're sitting up on something, set it off to the side. If you've got a blanket or something you want to put under your knees to give yourself a little bit more cushion on your mat, you can do that. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Draw your chin to your chest, round through the spine. Lift the heart forward between the biceps. Breathe in. Exhale, curl in. A couple more times with the breath. Inhaling the heart forward and exhaling, round in. And then come to a neutral spine here. Take and walk or reach your right arm out to the side, and then thread your right arm behind the right wrist. So you can rest onto your right forearm or come down onto your right shoulder. If If you've got a blanket or something, you could rest your head on that there. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, one of the most challenging parts of practicing yoga at home for me is that the second that I take time to try to quiet my mind in a contained space, I immediately start finding places in this room that I want to start cleaning. So I've already like clocked spots of dust that, you know, I wouldn't think about any other time than right now. And boy, does my brain want that distraction of cleaning instead of taking deep breaths, apparently. So that may be the case for you too, but see if you can stick with it. The dust bunnies can wait. Then take and unthread the right arm and come back onto hands and knees. Take the left arm out first, then come onto the left forearm or onto the left shoulder. Again, you can rest your head onto a blanket or a block or pile of pillows, or if you have a dog or a kitten, you can rest it there. Take one more breath here. And then take and unthread the left arm. Lower it down to the ground. From here, walk your hands forward a handprint distance from your shoulders. Press your chest back towards your thighs, and either stay here or tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. So in downward dog, hands are shoulder distance apart, feet hip distance or perhaps a little wider. Let your ears hang between your biceps. You can bend the knees one at a time, sway the hips, or you can stay still. And from here, walk your hands back towards your feet. Come into a standing forward fold at the back of your mat. So you can brace your forearms to the top of your thighs, or let your arms hang freely. Let there be a generous bend in your knees. You can also take hands to opposite elbows or biceps. Then release your hands. Walk your hands to the front of your thighs. Lift your torso up halfway. Draw the shoulder blades together. Extend the crown of your head forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Pause for a moment here with your thumbs against your chest. Press your hands equally against one another. Lift your heart up, lengthen up through the crown of your head. And breathe. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, release your arms by your sides. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Little bend to the knees as you bow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing, stretch your arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. From here, take and interlace your hands, turn the palms forward. Inhale, reach up. Then with a bend in your elbows or arms straight, whatever you need, exhale, tilt to the left. Inhale, up through the center. Exhale, tilt to the right. Inhale, up through the center. Exhale, once again to the left. This time, take a breath or two here. Shift your hips to the right as you extend your wrists to the left. Inhale, up through the center. Exhale, stretch the wrists to the right. Take a couple breaths here as you press the hips to the left. And On an inhale, come back up through the center. Exhale, take your hands to your hips. Draw your elbows back behind you. Inhale, lift up across the front of your chest. Exhale, press into the heels. Maybe tilt your chin up slightly, but keep the back of your neck long. Bring your chin back to neutral. Release your arms by your sides. Inhale, the fingertips overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. From here, walk your hands to the front of your mat. Come into tabletop. Take your knees out wide, big toes touch. Rest your forearms to the ground or walk your hips back to your heels. You can stack your hands under your face, or if you've got a block or something to rest your head on, you can do that for child's pose. Take 2 more breaths here. And then shift yourself back up through tabletop on hands and knees. If you have blocks or a stack of books or something for yourself, take and bring those to the front of your mat. We'll take and swing the right foot forward towards the outer edge of your mat, so your hands are on the inside of your right foot. Left knee stays down on the ground. Again, you can put a blanket or something underneath that if you would like the cushion. Extend forward through the crown of the head. Then stay here or take your hands to the top of your right thigh. Stay here or take one or both arms up overhead. Press your hips forward and down. Lift up through the fingertips. Take an inhale. Exhale, release your hands to your blocks or to the ground. Then take and walk your left hand off the left edge of your mat, right hand to your hip. So you'll turn towards your front leg. Stay here with the hand at the hip or take the arm up to the sky. Take another inhale. Exhale, release the right hand. Step back to tabletop. Inhale the heart forward. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, curl. Come back to a neutral spine. Swing your left foot out to the left side of your mat. Hands to the blocks to the ground, but both hands inside the left foot. Lengthen out through the crown of your head. Stay here or take your hands to the top of the left thigh. Or take one or both arms up overhead. Reach your hips forward and down. Press your left foot down and back. Lengthen up through the crown of your head, wherever you are. Take another breath here. And as you exhale, place your hands on your blocks or on the ground. Take your right hand off the right edge of your mat, left hand to your hip, so turn towards the front knee. Stay here or take the left arm up to the sky. Keep pressing into the palm of your right hand as you extend out through the crown of your head. Another breath here. On an exhale, release your left hand to the ground. Take and step back into tabletop. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, curl in. Once more, inhale, heart forward. Exhale, curl. And come back to a neutral spine. Walk your hands forward to handprint distance. You can stay in tabletop or lift your hips to downward facing dog. Big inhale. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. From here, take your hands to your hips. Step your left foot back about halfway on your mat. Turn your left toes out slightly, left heel in. Lift through the front of the chest, draw the elbows back. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge forward at your hips. So you can keep your hands at your hips or take them to the front of the right thigh, or walk them down the leg or perhaps down to the blocks or something that's reachable. But wherever you go, make sure you can still breathe deeply. If you go immediately to touch the ground and then you can't breathe deeply, then what are you doing? Come back a step. Give yourself the space to prioritize your breath, because that's what this practice is intended to do. Take another breath wherever you are. And walk your hands up to your hips. Lift yourself on up. And from here, stand into the sole of your right foot. Take and bring your left toes next to the left foot. Turn the left knee open to the side for tree pose. So you can bring the foot to the inner ankle, the inner calf, the inner thigh. You can bring it to the inner knee, just make sure that you're not pressing against the knee. If you find yourself wiggling, wobbling around, then just take your foot off your knee. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. Find your focus point. Mine is to stare awkwardly directly into the center of the camera lens right now. You can stay here, bring hands to heart center, or extend your arms up overhead. I'm watching you. I see you. And bring your hands back to heart center. Lower your left foot to the ground. And then we'll switch sides for that pyramid pose. Step your right foot back, right heel in, right toes out. Separate the feet so that your heels are about hip bone distance apart rather than lining them up like this. Lift through the chest, draw your shoulders back. Inhale. Then exhale, hinge forward. Hands can stay at hips or go to the thigh or wherever is sustainable. Sustainable meaning you're breathing deeply wherever you are. Take one more breath. Place your hands at your hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift on back up. Slide your right toes forward next to the left foot. This time, right knee goes out to the side for tree pose. Find your placement. Again, just avoiding pressing directly on the inner knee. Hug the standing leg and the lifted foot against one another and then draw up through the lifted heel. Gaze is forward and down, or we can just make eye contact right here and right now, or you can take your gaze up to the sky. Hands can be heart center or out wide. And bring hands back in through heart center. Lower your lifted foot to the ground. Give your knees a little bobble. And release your arms down by your sides. Take a deep inhale. Open mouth exhale. And from here, take and turn to face the long edge of your mat. Step your feet out wide. Turn your toes forward so the outer edge of your feet parallel to the short edge of your mat. Hands to the hips, lift up through the chest, take a big inhale. And exhale, hinge forward at your hips. You can pause with your hands at the thighs, the outer shins, the ankles, or you can take your hands to blocks or to a piece of furniture in front of you would also be really helpful here if the ground is far away. So you can keep your hands actively underneath you or let your upper body hang. Take one more breath here. And take your hands to your hips, little bend to the knees to come on back up. From here, turn your heels in, toes out. Bend your knees, sit down through the hips, kind of sway from side to side. Then take your hands to the top of the thighs, tilt forward through your shoulders. Take an inhale. Exhale, tilt your left shoulder towards the center of your mat. Gently press your left knee away. Take a breath here. Then come up through the center. Lower your right shoulder towards the center of your mat. Press your right knee gently away. Come back up through the center. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to your hips. Take and walk your feet back in towards one another. Hands at the hips or interlace your hands behind your back. Either way, squeeze your elbows together, lift up through your chest. And take an inhale. Exhale, bring your chin to neutral, release your arms by your sides. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees and come all the way down to seated. I'm gonna grab a little water. Okie dokie. So from your seated situation here, we'll do a few forward folds, a little more passive poses. It's later in the evening, so we're not going to get crazy tonight. Let's start by bringing the left heel in, slide your right leg out long. So this is again where props could come in helpful for you. I'm going to give you a couple different options here. So left heel in, right leg out long. You can keep your hands by your hips and stay upright here if this is enough of a stretch for you. If you've got blankets or pillows nearby, you could put something underneath the outside of your left knee if you find your knees up really high. That might be helpful to give your leg something to rest against. So from here you can stay upright, you can walk your hands forward, or you can take and build yourself a little yoga fort, if you will, so that you've got something to rest on. So I've used blocks and a yoga bolster, but I could just as easily do this with a pillow across the top of my thigh. Or what else have I got in here? I could use a couple plants. That would probably not actually be a good idea. So again, giving yourself something to lean forward onto, you might find to be nice. So we'll take a few steady rounds of breath here. Again, this is a pose that you could do in a chair with another chair out in front of you. You could do this in a like a reclining chair and put the legs out. You could do this in bed. Let's take 3 more breaths here. On your next inhale, walk your hands towards the hips, lift yourself up. If you've put anything across the extended leg, set that off to the side for the moment. Take and stretch your left leg out next to the right. Give yourself a little knee bobble. And bring your right heel in. And then start with your hands behind your hips, lift up through your chest. Again, you could stack blankets or blocks under the outside of your right thigh to support your leg there if you find your knees up really high or you feel like you're clenching through the inner thigh. And you're welcome to stay there or walk your hands forward. You might use some props here again, or again, a big pillow. Maybe the next class I'll do live, I'll just pull in all of my bedding so that I can prove to you that you don't need any of this fancy shit to enjoy yoga. Take 3 more breaths here. And roll up through the spine if you're folded forward. If you've got any things stacked across your foot, or your leg, get those out of the way. Stretch your right leg out long, bend both knees, or give both knees a little bobble, I mean. All right, and then from here, take and bend your knees so your feet are about mat distance apart. If you're not on a mat, then just place your heels so they're wider than your hips. Let your knees sway from side to side. From here, let your knees rest off to the left so that your right knee comes to the sole of your left foot. So this is what I often refer to as cheerleader picture day pose, right? So you're welcome to stay upright here or walk your hands out past your left thigh at an angle, or walk your hands towards the back of your mat for more turn through your torso. So this is again one of those situations where if you've got a pillow or a blanket or anything, you could take and lower your forearms onto said thing, said found object in your home. We'll take several breaths here. This is another one of those poses that you can do in bed or on the couch. You know, you can intensify the stretch across the side here by taking your elbows more towards the center of your mat, so making more space between your chest and your thigh, or you can lessen the intensity by bringing your forearms closer, or your hands closer, so that you're lessening the distance between your chest and your thigh. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Relax the muscles in your face. And then if you're on your forearms, walk your hands underneath your shoulders, lift yourself up. Take and turn to face the front of your space. You'll turn over your right side. Let your knees sway side to side. And let both knees rest off to the right. So now your left knee comes towards the sole of your right foot. Lift up through the chest. You can stay here or turn to your right. And same thing, you can stack yourself on something. You can lessen by bringing your hands or your arms towards the left knee, or intensify by bringing them out towards the hip. It's up to you. Notice how this side feels compared to the other. Is your body a little asymmetrical in what feels good for it? There's nothing wrong with that. We're all asymmetrical. Take 3 more breaths. And if you're on your forearms, walk your hands underneath you. Lift yourself up. Turn over the left side. Bring your hands behind you. Let your knees sway from side to side a time or 2 here. Stick and bring soles of the feet together to touch. Lift up through your chest. Take your hands to the front of your shins or the front of your ankles. You can stay upright or bow forward. One more breath here. Lift yourself up. Use your hands at the outside of your knees to bring the knees together. And then your call for your final moments here, if you'd like to lay down or if you'd like to stay seated. Some things that you can do here to make it more comfortable if you're gonna lay down, you can take a pillow or roll up a blanket and put it either behind your calves or behind your knees, sort of depending on the shape and depending on what feels good there. And then you can lay on down. I'm gonna stay seated just so that I don't fall asleep while Facebook Live is going. So make yourself comfortable. If you choose to be seated instead, you're welcome to sit up on something again if you'd like. So whatever you choose, however you choose to place your body here, give yourself a moment to make yourself comfortable. You can let your shoulders sort of nestle into a space that feels comfortable. Relax the muscles in your face. And then let's actually take and make fists with your hands. And as you clench your fists, clench all the muscles in your arms like you're trying to suck your arms up into your shoulders. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, release the hands, release the arms, release the shoulders. Let's do that again. Take and clench the fists, clench the arms, hug every muscle of the arms into the bone. Take an inhale. Then exhale, relax the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the face, everything. One more time. Clench, big breath in, squeeze, hold, tense. Then exhale, let go. Allow your body to soften. Allow your gaze to soften, perhaps closing your eyes, turning your focus inward. Witness the movement of your breath through your body, the inhales as they expand the body with breath, and the exhales as the breath is released and moves out from the body. We'll spend the next few moments in quiet here. If at any time you find your mind wandering off, the invitation is to recognize that it's done that. It will. It's what our brains were wired to do, and it's supposed to. But make the decision then to come back, to witness the movement of your breath, and use the breath like a lighthouse to guide you home. full deep breaths. See if you can maintain that spaciousness of your breath, even as you begin to send little flickers of movement into your fingers and your toes. And if you're laying down, bend your knees, place the soles of your feet onto the earth, and take your time to roll onto either side. And then if you're laying on your side, take 3 breaths there. And after your 3rd breath, press yourself on up to seated. From seated, sit tall through the spine. Take a moment to notice how you feel here, how you feel physically, how you feel emotionally, how your breath feels. Again, remembering that while we might be at home by ourselves, we're still all in this together. To end your practice, bring your hands to heart center with palms pressing, or stack your hands over the surface of your heart. Or any other gesture that's meaningful to you tonight as you end your practice here. Send gratitude outward to all of those who are working really hard to ensure that our community stays safe and healthy. Send love out to those who are struggling to stay safe and healthy. And then send whatever it is that you've cultivated for your practice tonight to wherever it needs to go. So whether that's a sense of peace that you want to send inward, or a sense of self-care that you want to share with someone else. And finally, honor yourself for making the time to take care of you. Bow your forehead towards your fingertips, or your chin towards your chest. Out of sweet respect for the teacher in you and in all things, thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. So again, thank you so much. This is going to live on our Facebook, and we'll put it on our website as well, so you can come back and do this practice whenever you need, for as many times as you want. Like I said, we're going to continue to do some live classes and recorded classes that we'll put up on our website with our different teachers, so that you can still get some of this much needed good stuff as we go into the world, or as we stay out of the, you know what I mean. So, again, our mission is to share yoga in a way that's accessible on and off the mat all across our community. And so that is why we're doing this, is because this is absolutely in line with who we are, and supporting you with whatever you need, wherever you are in your life right now. Of course, every small business, local businesses everybody is struggling to try to navigate what's going on, and how we can both keep ourselves afloat while supporting you. So like I said, you can support Yoga Buzz as we put some things on pause over these next couple of weeks by making donation here on Facebook or on our website at yogabuzz.org. We've got tons of super cool t-shirts that are all available through Bonfire, which is found on our website as well, yogabuzz.org. We've got memberships and gift cards both available on our website as well. So basically that's where you can go to support us there. If you're not already signed up for our newsletter, make sure you get signed up for that over on our website, because I'll be sending out a newsletter in the next day or two with more information about how you can catch us for live classes here on the internet, or where you can also find them stored aside. I have already put together a page of resources on our blog for some live Facebook streaming classes that we did years ago at the Peabody, or well, now the Stiefel, at a couple other places that I'm blanking, so you can go and check those out. Oh, on stage at the Muni a couple years ago as well as a 21-day meditation challenge that we recorded back in, I guess 2016. But there's 21 meditations that are all 5 minutes or less that are free and available to you over on our website. So pop over to our blog, again at yogabuzz.org. And if there's any classes or anything in particular that you would like to see us share, we'll definitely do some chair yoga classes, so we've got you covered as far as that goes. But if there's anything else that you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll do what I can to get that available for you here on the magical world of the internet. Again, I'm Elle, and thank you so much. I really am glad that we're in this together.